I'm okay. I just smoked another to the face, yeah. She wanna stay. Singing to your bitch like I was Drake, yeah.
Don't just try to tell me you love me. You can't keep it real if you really don't trust me. Come with a real, you hip in the front, so you get my meals. I'm gunning for the money in the bank. Coming with a dank, scrolling the tank, rolling with the gang. You sit and I on the sideline tripping. I go to the hole with the rock like Pippin.
Yeah. I'm okay.
What up, though? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, joined by my man Spin Mo Rex.
What up, though?
We got JB on the 1 to 2s. Embarrassing ass Chris, who took the day off of work to celebrate his cat's half birthday.
Like
it was my cat's half birthday, and none of you wished my cat a happy half birthday.
I don't even know your cat's name.
Yeah, I don't even know your cat's name.
What's your cat's name?
Yeah, what?
Kobe?
Kobe.
All right, that's pretty cool. Happy birthday, Kobe.
That's the coolest. Yeah, that's the coolest part about
But
that.
the reason we started laughing was because we were told our laughs are too girlish by someone who shall not be named.
laughs, we've been told.
Because we're not allowed to say
idea.
that she bullies us, but she does.
And then she bullies us into apologizing live on air.
Live on air.
We got a big show for you guys.
Big shit.
The big show! You ever watch wrestling growing up?
A little bit.
You just don't get hype like I do.
Yeah, I didn't really like wrestling.
You know, as a kid?
No, not really.
Everybody likes wrestling as a
Everybody
kid.
liked it.
Now, it's a little weird when you like it as an adult, JB.
Whoa.
I'm not going to say anything weird.
Shots fired, man. Come on. Wrestling is not the same as it used to be, but it's still entertaining.
I never really watched
I know it's
wrestling.
fake.
What if he's like, no, it's not!
It's real.
You're bad! But yeah, because
I mean,
you watch UFC, right?
Yeah,
every once
of
in a while?
course, yeah.
So how do you go from like watching a real combat sport to watching a fake one?
Ronda Rousey.
And then
Brock Lesnar.
that doesn't...
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, he did wrestle in college.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like the WWE stuff, I'm not trying to offend people
It's
here.
not fake.
It's not fake.
I was a fan of wrestling when I was younger, and then I just kind of transitioned to UFC just because, you know, just the physical aspect of it, you know. You're actually hitting people, you know.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I can like them both. I mean, you can be a fan of both of them.
Yeah.
Fair. A lot of people are.
I'm not gonna shame anybody for liking wrestling. It was never my cup of tea.
Can I ask one thing about it? And please don't take
Yeah,
this
what's
the
that?
wrong way. I'm genuinely asking, like,
What's up?
the underwear. Are you ever just like, come on, guys? Like, why do we gotta do this in underwear? We can't just be out here in like workout shorts. Like, why does it gotta be underwear?
Yeah, that's a little too much sometimes. I mean,
You gotta accentuate the bulge.
I guess
That's what the people want to see.
that's not what the people want to see though. That's like,
just wrestle in jean shorts like John Cena.
Yeah.
Everybody, just do that.
there's
Or
kids
pants.
watching you, bro.
That's true.
Has there ever been an uncomfortable moment out there for those guys in the underwear?
I don't think so, but then again, I'm not the one looking that hard,
That's
so
fair.
I don't know.
It's
That's
true.
fair. Ha. He hasn't, because he's not the one looking that hard.
Although Charlotte Flair did have a slip up at a pay-per-view, so
Oh,
her
really?
dick fell out. I mean, no, seriously, we do have a big show for you guys. It's not a wrestling match, but we did get into it. Actually, I think everybody in this room, we were drinking, but with Anson at the
Yes.
watch party,
Yes.
because this guy wants to call this version of the Detroit Lions the same old Lions.
He does.
This is not the case.
He says it's still the same old Lions.
Wild boy stuff. And then I told him, because we were all drinking. I'm like, Anson, let's have this conversation sober, because I don't believe you have the same thoughts sober as you do drunk. He's coming on the show today to defend the take, so
definitely
apparently he does. Yeah, Chris you're just more Chris when you drink. Honestly.
He was screaming into the mic about a Timberwolves trade. He's like,
Yeah.
the Timberwolves. I was like, Chris, bro, it's the Lions watch party. Don't scream into the mic about Timberwolves.
I was asked a question about Anthony Edwards coming
That's
to
fair.
Detroit, and I
But
got very excited.
You didn't have to yell.
There's something else Chris was doing that night too, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it was.
Okay, you can't phrase it like that because I wasn't doing anything wild.
No, you were doing. It was kind of wild.
No,
When he was at the table
Oh, yeah.
flirting with somebody that I don't know that plays on that team.
I wasn't flirting with nobody. I was having a conversation.
Oh, you were definitely like, oh, it's cool. I'm Chris. I like music. And you're trying to like
it's really weird when you have somebody that you have mutual interests and like have a conversation about.
That's what you did.
It's weird.
You looked them in their eyes. You kept grabbing their chin.
I can't wait. What?
And you kept telling, I'm your ally.
And then Anson took his dog to the bathroom with him.
Yeah, that was the best part. Which, like, I'm like, apologize, obviously. You know what? That's where we make him answer today. If we lose this SOL battle, which I don't see happening, I'm going to ask, what do you do in the bathroom with your dog? Like, why is your dog going to the bathroom with you? I get, like, if you're just at the crib chilling by yourself and your dog just, like, moseys on in there, then he just, just saying what's up.
Yeah.
But, like,
Dude, Holly watches me poop every day.
How often do you poop with the door open?
I mean, I know she wants to come in, so I'll leave it open a little bit.
Oh, so you're like Anson.
She, like, knocks it open and walks in
just
there.
watches. Do you look at her back?
Yeah.
If I say something, he finishes on the shitter.
If I say something, she'll walk up. But no, there's a process behind, because like dogs do that because when they're pooping, they're at their most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
protecting you.
They're protecting you, and that's why whenever they poop, they like look around because they don't want like predators to. Or
maybe they're embarrassed.
Sneak up on them.
Because we haven't taught their dogs how to use the toilets yet.
I used to. I'm not embarrassed to poop anywhere. There was a bathroom in my high school that one of the stalls didn't have a door on it.
Yeah.
There was no stall door.
Sometimes you gotta
Oh
go.
my God, your school too?
Yeah, I would always use that one. I would go in there, and it was like the worst bathroom.
Why would you always use that one? There's options to use other ones.
There's like 5 stalls, like probably like 4 bathrooms in the high school, 5 stalls in a single one. I would always use that one. People walk in, like be at the urinal, I'll just be shitting with the door open. It's like, what's up?
Yeah, I feel like if you've ever played like football or any like contact sport, you've no shame shitting anywhere because you gotta go. Otherwise, you're shitting your pants out there on the field.
Sure, you should see what I do in the bathrooms here, man.
That's why we can't go upstairs anymore. We've been clear about that one. This is on the prep, and for some reason, I always seem to skip the very first line of prep like every single day. Maybe it's part of having ADD, but the government can literally control the weather, bro. I know you're laughing because it sounds crazy, but it's true. They're openly about it now. They're on the news. The birds are fake.
Birds are fake.
Birds are real.
No, birds are fake.
They work for the bourgeoisie.
Have you ever seen them all in a room at the same time? Exactly.
Stop.
Birds are fake.
You're taking this. Listen though, they control the fucking weather, bro. Did you not freak out when you saw that?
CJ Snyder, birds aren't real.
That's my favorite conspiracy theory. But we're talking about the weather. They control the weather.
Yeah.
Nobody else freaked out about that. You just.
I mean, it's science.
All the way back to the 60s. The guy in that channel, whatever his name is, super ethnic name, I don't know how to say, the Asian guy. It's like Professor Oak.
Oh my.
No, it was like Tristan Nashugai with the weather. Oh my God, it was a Japanese guy. But he's like, they shoot the lasers. If guys don't know, I don't know. So bear with me on this explanation here.
Like cloudy with a chance of meatballs?
Yeah, I guess there's like dust particles and whatever else helps like formulate a cloud. But if they shoot the laser at it, they can make it like rain. And I think they can make it stop raining. What they can't do is if there's nothing there. They can't do it on like a clear day.
That's just awesome to me because that means eventually we're all going to be walking around with pocket lasers instead of umbrellas. When it's raining, you're just like, bzz, and it stops raining where you're walking, and you just go.
I guess.
Technology.
But they said they've been doing this all the way out back to the 60s. It dates back to the 60s where allegedly the CIA would like cause it to rain to like, drown out the Viet Cong. Not drown them out, but make them like, leave where the hell they were. Because they did the guerrilla tactic shit. G-Unit, that's where that's from, by the way. Shout out Uncle Tom. He taught me that.
Did you hear about this, though? The David E. Walker said the coaches got into it after the Packers game?
I saw something about that, but I don't know what it was specifically.
It was so the coaches were leaving and their elevators were next to each other. Like the Lions coaches were in one elevator, Packers coaches were in the other elevator.
The Packers coaches were trying to go at the Lions coaches?
One of the Lions coaches said, "You can't lose to that team 3 times," like loud. And one of the Packers coaches was like, "Oh, real classy," and they were like, "Your quarterback said that." And I'm like,
"That's fair."
10 out of 10, minus 12,000 odds. It was Deuce Staley.
Yeah.
It was probably Deuce that started chirping.
We got, Antoine Randall. There's a lot of like
Calvin Shepard.
AG.
AG gets a little chirpy.
Yeah, you saw AG on Sunday night.
Hank Fraley.
All former players, bro. Yeah, they ain't scared of nobody.
Mark Brunell.
Yeah, it's like when you said they got into a fight. It's like they got into a verbal altercation. Let's
I
not
didn't
call
say
it
they
a
got
fight.
into a. Did I say they got into a fight?
I'm pretty sure you said fight.
No, I said they were chirping at each other.
That's not what you said at all. It's the first time you said chirping during the show today.
Run the tape, Jamie. Run the tape back. But
Pretended like a rewind.
yeah, so the Packers fought each other. But no, it's pretty awesome, man. You love to see the coaches hyped like that. And yeah, like you said, they're former players, so they know what kind of rivalries there are. They know the kind of the inner workings of interdivision rivalries, especially when you got smug-ass Aaron Rodgers running his mouth all season, trying to discredit teams. Then he gets clapped again, and he cries, and he walks down the tunnel with Randall Cobb so he can get his 30 for 30 shot, and he's going to retire because I'm Aaron Rodgers. I hate that guy so much, dude. I swear, like, he's up there for most hated sports figures for me. But I respect his game.
Stick Radio on the Sports Shot said it was Ben Johnson. He pulled out his wing and pissed in the elevator. Definitely not head coaching material.
Definitely not head coaching material.
A head coach would never do that. Like, we didn't even assume it was Campbell when we had the kind of.
No, yeah.
Clearly Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I've seen Ben Johnson do a lot of things before that don't make him a head coach.
If Stick is still here, Stick, can you sneak in? Because you said you believed about the weather for a minute now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That just tripped me out. I know there's the bird one. Is the bird one? That's not a real conspiracy, is it?
It is. There's a lot. Space is fake is a real conspiracy.
Now that one I can buy into. I'm not gonna say I believe, but I can buy into it. What?
Nothing.
What? They just all sound funny.
Space is fake. Justin Slanik, he's a big conspiracy guy.
Not about I guess space being fake.
When it was me, Sawyer.
That's who we should get in here.
When it was me, Sawyer, and Justin in the back, sitting in that where Ryan and them sit now.
Yeah.
It used to be me, Sawyer, and Justin back there, and we talk about a lot of wild shit.
Once you get him going, you can't slow him
And
down.
yeah, he put me into a space is fake rabbit hole where I was reading some shit on Reddit, and I was like, whoa.
I don't believe that space is fake, but the moon landing, I guess that's.
Oh, the
that's
moon
where
landing's fake for sure.
Yeah, like you have a flag just blowing.
waving,
Yeah, like what do you do? Like there's supposed to be no gravity, bro. Like what's happening here? That one I definitely buy into. Killian dunked on Rudy Gobert last night.
Yep.
I wish we could play highlights of that situation.
French on French crime.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Does that really count as like a dunk on someone? He was
The
like
French Revolution!
Oui.
Yeah, I mean, the French Revolution is one of the bloodiest battles in the history of the
It
world.
is. They cut off the queen's head.
They did.
They
They cut
beheaded the
off
queen.
a lot of people's heads.
All right. Thank
All
you,
right.
Stick.
Thank you, Stick.
I appreciate you joining us.
What's going on?
So, the weather machine.
Yes.
What
This
is-
ain't new, guys.
Yeah.
I think it's just like becoming, like last year they told us aliens were real. And
Yeah,
nobody
they did.
batted an eye. It was just like, yeah, there's aliens. Everyone's like, yeah, we knew.
I mean, yeah.
So, like, it's the same thing with the weather machine. Like, they've been messing around with this in the northern poles and doing that stuff for a while.
See, I just never brought into because like I feel like Mother Nature's just so powerful itself. Like you have like the hurricanes,
nature is
tornadoes,
scary.
like it's the scariest thing. To
We're
me.
human beings. We destroy everything.
Yeah,
and we
that's
try
right.
to fix and control and manipulate. Listen, I haven't seen the weather machine.
Yeah.
I haven't been in the weather machine. It just makes sense to me that there's some idiot out there with a ton of money and a ton of time. And you know what? Money with wars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What would be more powerful than raining down on your enemies or like
Yeah.
changing the weather? Like there's, it's
Don't you
follow
think it's
the money.
cool, though? Like, science, because, like I said,
Science!
eventually... Science! I am a man of science, but eventually... You can have, like, just walk around with a pocket laser instead of an umbrella. If it's raining outside and you're trying to walk somewhere, you just beep, and it just stops raining.
Well, and think about this, like, everybody talk about the ice caps melting. If we really want to get into like conspiracy theories and all that
Yeah.
stuff,
I don't think
there's
that's a
not
conspiracy
going
theory.
there's
I
not going
think
to be
that's-
rain, so now we can organically create rain to get us crops and to
Yeah.
create food. So it eventually should help mankind. But yeah, man, we'll mess with anything. We're humans.
rain is a good
California
thing.
did just have a flood,
Rain makes corn.
which
Yeah,
is
California
also
doesn't
corn makes
count.
whiskey.
Yeah.
California can fall into the ocean for all I care.
That is
What?
fair.
What do you got? What's wrong with California?
What is it? Well, how much time you got?
Yeah, I love California, man. That place is awesome.
Well, you see how it's
been good to me.
The video I posted on my Twitter, like I think it was yesterday actually, of the bus like falling off of the.
Yeah.
It's because they were flooding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they're also at the same
Mudslides.
time though, California has that drought. They were saying like people aren't allowed to like water the grass on certain days. Like
Yeah.
Thought it was a drought.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But here's a hint to everybody: the climate's been changing since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So it's always going to change. It's not much what you can do about it. Just live with it, deal with it, and move on.
I'm sure pointing lasers into the sky prior isn't
Do you
helping
think,
too much either.
space is real?
I do think space is real.
I do think space.
I do think we landed on the moon.
I don't.
Like I'm not full Anson's got some crazy. You want to talk conspiracy theory?
we gotta
When
get him
Anson
going.
Wells gets in here,
Yeah.
my God.
Justin's got a lot of them.
I'm
too.
like, bro, not on air.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Justin's got a lot of them too. Space is fake is a big one from Justin.
Space is real. Moon landing was fake.
My brain just has a rough time comprehending space. Like,
Yeah.
where does space end? And what, if it does end, what's on the other side?
You know what's always
I
tripping me
ask
out?
myself that all the time.
Remember Men in Black, and they like zoom out of like the galaxy, and it's just like a little marble, and
Yeah.
he just puts it in like a little.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, back to sports.
Back to
We
sports.
gotta go to break anyway. Thank you, Stick.
Thank you, Stig.
If you want to work out these thoughts, they just scared you so much.
Yeah,
Man. Like, what's the
honestly, they
one
do.
place you'd go?
Planet Fitness, where you can go and just, free your mind a little bit. It's Planet Fitness, because Planet Fitness is the original studio sponsor of Woodward Sports, and also the home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere for just $10 a month, or upgrade to the Black Card for unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. Join in club or online at planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
At Alta.
Uptime.
Matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. You got a big project coming up? Alta Rent has you covered. Make sure you guys give them a call today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. Again, that's 844-GO-TO-ALTA. Alta Equipment, where
Uptime.
matters. I feel like D Wade and Braun every time you do that. That kind of pose. Uptime. Matters. What up, though? Welcome back to Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodsportsCom. I'm your boy Eazy, joined by my man Spin More Racks.
What up, though?
A.K.A. Kong from Spinny, a.k.a. Mr. Scatter Wales. We got young Chris
Killer
in the
whales,
TD
not all
booth.
whales.
JB Smooth, the ones and twos. We're rocking along on a Thursday. A lot of stuff to come out, news, thank God, because the football season's over for Detroit Lions. Brad Holmes gave us a lot to, I almost said munch on. Kids these days ruin every single word. The kids can't say anything these days without saying pause. You're a munch, sir. And we had a discussion this morning about your munching activities.
Excuse me, sir. You are a munch.
You have a case of the munchies, sir. You are on. All right. We ain't sharing nothing no more,
of
by
that.
the way. Yeah, it makes you look, you're sweating now, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
NFL free agency is upon us after the Super Bowl, of course, and one of the big names out there is a piece that the Detroit Lions need. That's an interior defensive lineman by the name of Deron Payne.
Yes.
We have a graphic for this one that looks pretty cool, so I wanted to give a shout out to Lucas for making this one, and I want to show him some love with this one, Chris, if you put it up there.
Yeah.
Deron Payne. So the Detroit Lions pursue Washington Commanders defensive tackle Deron Payne in free
Payne.
agency. Spin more.
I mean, yeah, if they could get him here on a deal that allows them to re-sign some guys that I think they should, such as Jamal Williams and Alex Anzalone, then yeah, I would be all for it. This guy is a dog. This year alone, in 17, he played all 17 games. He had 5 pass breakups, 11.5 sacks, 18 tackles for loss, 20 quarterback hits, and a safety. That's from his interior defensive lineman position. The guy is a monster. In his career, in 75 games started, he has 26 sacks, almost 300 tackles, 40 tackles for loss, and 55 quarterback hits. Like, the guy is a problem. The guy is a disruptor. The guy goes in there and makes plays in the backfield, blows up the opposing offenses. He's young, too. He's only 25. And dude's 6'3", 320 pounds. Like, yes, if you can sign him, sign him. That would be huge. That would make it way easier for them to just go and get best player available in the draft, get a cornerback, get somebody else. If you know you have a guy like that you can put next to a Lee McNeil, that would be extremely beneficial for the Detroit Lions. And I think he's going to outprice the Lions a little bit. I don't think they're going to have the money to be able to throw at him. Mm-hmm. But, man, if there's any hint of him wanting to come here or him being in your financial spectrum, your financial grasp, firmly grasp it, I would firmly grasp it. You guys ever seen SpongeBob? I would highly recommend you go after Darton Payne, because this guy is a monster. This guy is a disruptor. This guy walks in the room and intimidates everybody, kind of like Bethany. So I'd be very impressed if the Lions went out there and they went after him. Again, I think he's going to be a little too expensive for the Lions to grab, but I think they should try their damnedest to get him on the team.
You like to grab that intimidation, won't you? Too much money.
I'm pretty good at doing the Patrick Star voice, by the way.
Where'd that come from?
CJ Snyder said Spence is Patrick Star.
Oh, you are the Patrick Star voice is fired. JB Smooth, would you pay Deron Payne to come here to play for the Detroit Lions?
It depends on what that price tag is, because honestly, what's his contract right now? Like $14 million?
I'm not even sure. I know that
I know that the Commanders could franchise tag him for 18. So
yes.
You gotta imagine he's gonna ask for like what, 19, 20, somewhere
around there. Yeah.
I mean, I would throw a number at him to see if he wants to come to Detroit. Honestly, I would be looking to get out of Washington as it is. I don't think that organization is making any moves to try to improve themselves.
Place a shithole
as it is right now. And the dude's a beast.
Yes.
He is a disruptor. Like, this is somebody that I think if you put on this Lions team, you will be fearing this defense next year.
I Wumbo, you Wumbo, he, she, me, Wumbo, Wumbology, the study of Wumbo. No, but I agree. Bugs, it would be a good low-risk signing, but this is the star. This is a star free agent signing that you could make. Like I said, he's still a very young man. He's only 25. Dude, that's crazy. This guy's younger than I am. He's already played 75 games in the NFL, and is about to get a stupid fat contract. Sports are crazy, man. Sports are crazy. Like, this 25-year-old.
Sports are crazy,
This 25-year-old's about to get, like, 70 M's.
Yeah. It was even crazy when you look at the basketball side of it. These guys are getting drafted at, like, 19.
18 years. Like Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
Was 18 years old in the league.
Yeah.
Getting 12 boards a game against grown-ass men.
Playing against LeBron James. Yeah. Just playing basketball against LeBron. Like, all right. That's cool.
I know you guys heard that stat, right? That LeBron has been in the NBA longer than Jalen Duren's been on this earth.
Yeah, he's the first player.
Yeah. Tom Brady's got a few of those, too. I think Brock Purdy might be one, actually.
Yeah.
But bringing it back to Deron Payne, the Detroit Lions, just because I know what it's going to be. I mean, I don't know, like, what his actual contract's going to end up being around, but, like, this guy's going to be signing for somewhere upwards of like $18 million. That's what the Detroit Lions have in cap space as we speak. Mm-hmm. And I know there's going to be certain guys, their names that get cut from this team to save us some money. I know Romeo Quara might be one of those.
Romeo Quara, Vitae,
Brockers. But still, no, it's just too much. I don't want to pay a guy that much money unless he's like the Dominican Sue. You know what I'm saying? Like, the highest paid defensive tackles right now in the NFL, number one, you have Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And per year, which obviously that's not how the contracts are made up, but it's $31 million per year for Aaron Donald. And that's obviously, he's not getting paid that. Behind him, let me find this list actually I got. Leonard Williams, actually.
Leonard Williams.
At $21 million.
That's a lot.
DeForest Buckner at $21 million. Chris Jones at $20 million. And then Josh Allen, $18 million already right now. That's on the Commanders. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to have. But I think Brad Holmes made it kind of clear, like earlier this week when he has his press conference, that he's going to build this thing through the draft.
Yeah.
He kind of actually made a statement. I don't know if he's talking about Deron Payne specifically, because I do agree he would help out this team. But he's rather build through this draft, and he's shown us that he can.
Yeah, he's shown us that he can. He's shown us that he can find guys. But he also said that it's not. He didn't say that he's never going to spend money. He said it's got to be the right guy as well. It has to be the right fit, the right guy. And I don't think, Deron Payne is a good fit on any defense. Like I said, he's a disruptor. He's not, I don't think he'll be making Leonard Williams or definitely not Aaron Donald money, but he's going to be right up there.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be right up there, $18+ million a year.
That's, I guess, another thing to look at, too, is like, yeah, he's killing it, but he's also playing alongside Josh Allen, who's also killing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
John
you put him
Allen,
on a defensive line with Ali McNeil and, Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston.
Yeah. For sure, I don't doubt that he'll be all cold. Like I think that's for sure. I mean, that's the irrefutable part of this conversation, right? It's like he's probably going to do pretty well. But like before last year, and then talking about like 2022 season, he only had that. That's his first double-digit sack season. He is an interior lineman, which I guess you don't expect those guys to have that many sacks in a season.
11.5 sacks from a defensive tackle is
pretty damn impressive.
Pretty damn impressive.
But and at the same time too, like, do you ever? I never want to like feel this way about certain guys, but it bewilders me that guys have these insane years in the contract year when like it's icky to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to pay a guy who really only performs like when he needs to, or like when a paycheck's on the line. I want a guy who's going to constantly perform consistently. Especially paying like that kind of money.
He's never had these kind of sack numbers before, but he's consistently been getting tackles. Has consistently been getting tackles for loss. And quarterback hits. Like last year, he had 15 quarterback hits, but he only had 4.5 sacks.
Yeah.
So sacks are kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say luck, but there's luck involved.
There's some luck in sacks, yeah, for sure.
So he's been consistently disruptive. He definitely hasn't had this level of sack numbers before in his career, but he's always been good, like dropping back. It's weird. He's got
like his hard.
He's got 5 pass defenses this year. He had 4 in 2020. He had 3 his rookie year in 2018. Like, the guy is a problem. He's a disruptor. He always has been, and he always will be. Will he get 12 sacks a season? Probably not. But still, he's going to get in there. He's going to cause pressure.
For me, it's almost in the same vein as the trading for DeAndre Hopkins. Like, although hell yeah, I would love to have DeAndre Hopkins. Who wouldn't? It's just like, is the Detroit Lions team ready to make that much of a financial commitment? And same thing with DeAndre Hopkins. Are Detroit Lions ready to make that much of a commitment to, like, we're sacrificing assets to acquire him, and then financial assets like following that year because DeAndre's in a big ass contract? Like, I just don't think they're there yet. If that makes sense. Like, if the Detroit Lions were a playoff team this year and actually had any record better than 9-8, maybe
I mean, they were a Baker Mayfield
closer.
Interception away from being a playoff team.
Yeah, that's fair.
They were the 4th, finished the power rankings of the NFC at 4th.
Maybe it's just easier for them to play with their heads on fire like that, though, too, because they literally had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, we discussed that during the game win and play.
But also, the 10 games leading up to that, they had something to lose. They were in a playoff race, and they were playing that well.
We'll find out. I mean,
you think it was a fluke?
Which one? I hit you with one of those 100%. So I don't even know what the hell you said.
100%.
100%.
What did you say?
I said that they were a Baker Mayfield interception away from being a playoff team.
I heard that part, but after that, you said when you asked what was a fluke, like what did I think was a fluke?
Them playing well at the end of the season and being in playoff contention.
Oh no!
Because you said, do you think they were just playing with their head on fire?
No, I'm talking about the Green Bay game.
Yeah, but the games prior to that, they were playing an equally good brand of football, and they had things to lose there. They were in the heat of a playoff race.
Yeah, but I'm talking about specifically the Green Bay game. I don't know why you keep bringing up the games before that.
I mean, because they were playing just as good football.
They were really playing for like playoff game or playoff race.
Yeah, exactly. So they didn't have nothing to lose then, and they were playing just as good football.
No, they had something to lose. Someone was on the line in those games.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Tell us about the butchery. Shut up.
No, that just doesn't make sense to me. You say the Green Bay game doesn't matter because they didn't have anything to lose.
There's a lot less pressure.
So well. But
I'm not saying that's why they played so well.
They were playing just as good in the games prior to that, and there was something to lose. So I don't think it's just a fluke.
The game prior to that, they played the Chicago Bears, mate.
Yeah, and the games before that.
And the game before that, they got their asses whipped by Carolina Panthers.
What about the one before that?
And
what about the one before that? Yeah, when they were with that stretch of great football they played to end the season and enter a playoff race. Like 10 straight games.
Time will tell.
That was all a fluke?
Time will tell. All you tell us about the butchery.
What happened to you? You don't believe in the Lions anymore?
I'm just saying it's different.
The butchery. Meats, eats, and treats. The official meat supplier of the Woodward Sports Network is the butchery. Call 248-682-2697. Yes, 248-682-COWS. Or order online at thebutcherysl.com, where shipping is included for Woodward Sports customers. The butchery. Meats, eats, and treats. Sandwiches to die for. Wagyu meats and artisan breads inspired by the legend Chef Dave. Only the best of the best for our meat-loving customers. An old-school butcher shop from a new-school perspective.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
The Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling pin game called Foaling. Multiple different ways you could play. They have $12 open unlimited play and private lane reservation for $120. If you get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine and multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So make sure you go check them out in Hamtramck or visit them online at foalingwarehouse.com.
Bonjour. Welcome back to the Woodward Happy West. I am your boy Eazy. This is my man, Spencer. We have Chris and the DD both. JB Smooth on the ones and twos.
We're walking around on a Thursday. It's not that I don't think the Detroit Lions, back to our argument, it's not that I don't think the Detroit Lions still would have played their asses off in that game. I'm just saying,
you think they would have lost if they had the ability to make the playoffs?
Well, no, the whole purpose in the conversation is I don't think the Detroit Lions are a Deron Payne away from winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you said if they were a playoff team, maybe I would consider it. They were literally a Baker Mayfield interception away from being
before then I said any record
team.
Higher than 9-8 is what I said.
Well, you said after it.
Yeah, which would have been a playoff team for sure at that point.
Yeah,
so that's what I meant when I said
you
that.
don't think their record next year, even if they don't add Deron Payne, is going to be better than 9-8?
Again, I think if we're paying anybody on the defensive side of the ball $18+ million, first and foremost, all due respect to Deron Payne, I already said playing dry, I want them to be like a Dominic Sue level defensive tackle. That's a lot of money. That's damn near quarterback money.
It is a lot of money. You're gonna, no, it's not damn near quarterback money, but
not now these days.
Not good quarterback money. That's like backup quarterback money. But it's you're gonna have to pay somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that would. I'm not saying go do it right now, pay him $35 million a year, but if you can get a guy like that on a deal like that frees you up to make different choices in the draft and frees you up to know that you have that anchor there, I wouldn't be mad if they did it at all. I don't expect them to, but
yeah, if I'm pocketing out that much money to anybody, I want them to have. I'm gonna subtract Pro Bowls from the conversation, but I want some All Pros.
He's probably gonna make All Pro this year.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe this year, maybe All Pro team already came out.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
I don't think it did. I think PFF's All Pro team.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I'll check. We'll do it. Hey Jamie, can you pull it up for us?
Yeah.
We don't have a Jamie here. I just like saying that because Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But if Jamie or Chris or one of you guys want to pull it up, the All Pro team. I do think that was PFF.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% who it was, but dude, I'm just not cool with paying any one position like that much money on the defense. Again, if I am, I just want it to be like that level of player, All Pro. And I'll do respect to Deron Payne. I just don't think he's there yet.
I think he proved this year that he was.
I mean, it's 1 year though. It's kind of like an anomaly.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before that, sacks are a little fluky at times. So the sack stats haven't been there like that, but the rest of the stats have been pretty similar.
On top of the fact too, you got a guy in Brad Holmes, who's been credited for pounding that fist on the table and demanding the LA Rams draft Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
I'd rather almost see through what he's able to do. This is the same guy who got you at James Houston in the 6th round here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I understand drafting talent. You draft talent for sure, but you're gonna have to pay somebody eventually. And if you could bring in a guy like that, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
If All Pro team is out and he's not on it.
The All Pro team for the NFL.
Yeah.
What's Chris Jones and.
Who's the defensive tackle?
Probably Chris Jones.
Dexter Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yep,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
He had a hell of a year. Yeah, again,
he's got to be second team then at least because you don't get 11.5 sacks now. Well, probably. What? Is it just one defensive tackle or is it two?
There's two. There's
Chris Jones and Dexter Lawrence.
No, there's
Quentin
Dexter
Williams.
Lawrence and Quentin Williams.
Yeah, and then it's probably Chris Jones and Darren Payne are probably second.
Now Quentin Williams, I pay him $18 million all day.
Yeah,
twice on Sunday because that's where he makes that money. It's almost similar to like the LA Rams. Like they didn't go all in until they're at a spot where they can go all in. The same thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Like okay, they had a year like we did. I don't want to say 9-8 season. Or actually, were they 9-8 last year when they made the playoffs?
Who?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Probably.
I know they squeaked in. They played the Tampa Bay Bucks. But either way, like give me a prove-it season like that, which I guess is maybe that for you in terms of like Detroit Lions. But
yeah, I mean Quentin Williams. They have a very, very, very similar trajectory.
Quentin Williams has been a dog for like a minute though.
This is his first season with double-digit sacks.
Quentin Williams?
Yes.
Which I'm not. Again, this is defensive tackles we're talking about. But Quentin Williams, I just know it's like straightforward, like point blank, dog. In all facets. I mean you got to put two human beings on him to slow him down. John Allen plays alongside Daron Payne, which again, I'm not trying to disrespect Daron Payne. That's not that he's watched or anything like that, but he sure would probably beat the shit out of me if we ever met face to face. When you play alongside great players, it just makes other guys look better. Nick Fairley was an example of that. Nick Fairley looked. I mean, the Saints paid him, not handsomely, but they thought he was going to be like a nice guy. He ended up fizzling out in his career in New Orleans. But he played alongside Ndamukong Suh for a while. Cliff Averill left here and still continued to be great. Ziggy Ansah, he's hurt all the time. But when you on a defensive line, we got one guy getting double teamed. It frees it up for other guys to have those one-on-one situations. We talk about that all the time with the heavyweights.
That's fair. Quentin Williams and Daron Payne's numbers are scarily similar.
What are they?
Through their career. Darren Payne at 11.5 sacks, Quentin Williams at 12. Darren Payne had 64 total tackles, Quentin Williams at 55.
This is like this year you're talking about?
This year.
Yeah.
You want to hear their careers? Because their careers are also very similar.
On the careers, I would actually still go with Quentin Williams. He has a 7-sack season, a 6-sack season. If I'm not mistaken, Daron Payne's highest sack season before then was 5.
It was 5, yeah.
Yeah.
5, 2, 3, 4.5, 11.5.
Quinn's also a year younger than him, too.
Williams was 2.5, 7, 6, 12.
Yeah, I'm going Quentin Williams all day.
Quentin Williams is also going to be probably more expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a guy I'd pay that money, though, because he's worth it. I don't know if he'd be... Yeah, he probably will.
He's going to ask for top 3 money.
But that's what Duran's about to get?
No, he'll probably get...
Outside of, like, Aaron... Like, he's obviously outside of the conversation.
Well,
Aaron Donald,
it's still number one. Like,
yeah, but he ain't going to get paid more than Aaron Donald. As a free agent, he's hitting the free market.
Quentin Williams is going to ask for $20+ million. You can get Daron Payne for under $20 million a year.
I don't believe so. Not at a free market.
Everything's free market.
What?
It's America.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think that's the case. I think he's going to get some... He's going to go to the highest bidder. You know? And I don't know what they're doing anyway, paying him. They're already paying Josh Allen. I'm sorry, I keep calling Josh Allen. John Allen.
Yeah.
$18 million.
No, they're not going to pay him. They're going to franchise tag him or he's going to go somewhere else.
You know who's their GM, by the way? Martin Mayhew.
Martin Mayhew?
Yep. So, hey, he might pay him. He already let a defensive tackle walk away. He kind of regretted it.
That's true.
I got to assume he regretted it at least.
He better if he regretted it.
But that's, again, another level of defensive tackle who's worth paying that much money. I do want to, I guess, talking about Ndamukong Suh and Martin Mayhew. There's a gentleman who coached, actually, was Jim Caldwell with Martin Mayhew? I think for a couple seasons, right?
Yeah.
Either way, Jim Caldwell went 9-7 with the Detroit Lions, and guys like Adam wanted him fired. Dan Campbell goes 9-8 with the Detroit Lions, and we're praising him.
Yeah.
Some people, they're bitching about that. They see, I don't know if it's a race thing. I don't know what they're trying to make it, but to me, it's two different scenarios. How are you looking at that?
Two very different scenarios.
Thank you.
Dan Campbell walked into the worst roster in the sport.
Yep.
And he turned it around in a year.
The shit salary cap
with
situation.
Shit salary cap, with being crippled by contracts that are off the books that you're paying $30 million to players that aren't even on your team anymore.
Yeah.
And he turned it around through the draft. Well, obviously he didn't do the draft.
Brad Holmes.
Having the young guys step up, keeping them bought in and dealing with situations. He's winning on the road against playoff teams, winning against teams with a 500 or better record, winning against playoff teams at home, things that Jim Caldwell wasn't able to do. I love Jim Caldwell.
I love Jim Caldwell.
But Jim Caldwell walked into a pretty good situation. He walked into a team that was in the playoffs recently. He walked into a team that wasn't completely destroyed because the coach prior to him ripped apart their entire foundation and traded them in other places. Like, Dan Campbell walked into a situation where the two best players on their defense were traded away or released because the coach didn't like them, and that coach signed two bums to terrible contracts.
Yeah.
And that's what Dan Campbell walked into. So I think it's much different, obviously. And
100%.
if Dan Campbell goes 8-9 or 9-8 again next year, yeah, I'll be upset. But 9-8 this year, off of the roster they had, what they were dealing with, and especially starting 1-6 is extremely impressive.
Yeah, and I'd argue that, Jim Caldwell had a way better roster, actually.
Oh, 100%.
Sorry, his 9-7.
When he started, yeah.
Yeah, especially when he started.
Yeah.
And I think he won at, there was a 10-game season there somewhere with Jim Caldwell.
I believe.
And they got stomped out by Seattle that year. But you made the biggest point when you said Dan Campbell's beating teams above 500.
Yes.
Under the Matthew Stafford, no matter what era of head coach you want to point to, but even with Jim Caldwell, though, you can't point to... You can probably point to, what, 2-3 teams they beat that actually had records over 500 or finished the season above 500. Dan Campbell this season routed playoff teams.
Yes.
I'm talking about Minnesota, who's holding the 3 seed.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Giants. Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Yeah. And the Giants situation was on the road.
Yeah.
Like, this is a whole totally different scenario.
Went punch for punch with the Bills.
Exactly. And this is with the worst roster.
Which, again, I don't...
The league's youngest roster.
They didn't win that game, but still.
The Bills?
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, you still got your point across. I got it. And in that game, too, this is one of the things I was really pissed off about coming off of that Bills game. We're going to break after this one because we got a special guest, Russel Brown, join the show, our official draft expert. I actually texted Russell this week.
I wonder if he's a little tipsy.
It was pretty awesome.
That was funny.
We asked if he'd do that. Maybe we'll ask him again today. But the Bills game.
Yes.
The fumble. I'm sorry, the safety. The missed kick. And I think there was a fumble by Jamal, too.
Yeah.
And the Detroit Lions still had an opportunity to win that game. Like Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, defend Glenn. They're good-ass coaches.
They are.
I mean, people need to stop disrespecting that. It's a different scenario for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a different scenario. And if you think it's still the same old Lions, you might be old and senile like Anson, and you might need someone to talk to. We got the place for you. That is the Sports Marketing Agency, or SMA. The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This Is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com to get the help you deserve.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Three NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Downtown Detroit's all decked out with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and Monroe Street Midway. The Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade place you grab drinks at the lodge before or after games. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with deckedoutdetroit.com.
Check it out.
Check it out. Rip. Oh, yeah. What up, though? Welcome back to Woodward. It's live on woodsports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, joined by my man Spinmo Rex.
What up, though?
We've got young Chris in the TV booth, JP Smooth, the 1s and 2s. We're rocking along on a Tuesday. Russel Brown update.
He's here. He's ready to go.
He's gotten
he is ready
so
to go.
drunk that he forgot to show up.
Yeah, he forgot to call in.
Forgot to show up.
It's all right. It means we're in for a good interview.
No, we got him now, though?
Yeah.
We got him now.
I mean, he's sobered up so fast. What a good guy, dude. This guy's great.
Look at this guy holding it together.
What's up, man?
What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I'm only on your show when there's Wings games, and I'm not downtown on this one. So
there. That's
it's
good.
a big game tonight.
It's a big game. Live TV.
It is a big game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live TV.
Live TV.
Good job,
Oh.
Spin. ESPN.
Primetime TV.
There you go.
All right, real quick before we jump into the draft conversations, because you're still a Detroit Lions fan, Deron Payne, would you give him that big ass deal to come play here for the Lions, or you want to draft somebody?
I mean, I would definitely think about it. I don't know how big of a deal he's gonna want to have. I know he wants to be like the highest paid interior defensive lineman. And
oh my!
I don't know if I'm willing to back like Quinnen Williams type money for Deron Payne, especially when he's on the sidelines punching his teammates a season ago. But I mean, I would love a player like him in the middle of this defense, with Lee McNeil and stuff like that. But man, that's a tough one. I don't know if I'd be willing to make that pay because just St. Brown. You have a young player like Hutchinson. You've got a player like Jamal Williams who you're probably going to have to pay a little bit. Obviously we have to make a decision with Jared Goff, but we've got Sewell, Frank Ragnow. I mean, so many different players. Jonah Jackson, where we have to really consider where we want to, delegate this money. And I don't know if I would want to delegate it to an interior defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
it is sexy. And the punching his teammates thing doesn't bother me. For a defensive lineman, no. He's punching his teammates. Quinnen Williams punched a coach this year. And Ndamukong Suh's stepping on people.
Quinnen Williams punched a coach this year?
You never saw that?
On purpose?
They were getting in each other's face and right on the sideline.
Is this true, Russell? Is he?
Who punched a coach?
Quinnen Williams. He's barking in the coach's face, and he didn't stick him, but he one arm shoved him. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, that did happen.
Defensive linemen are supposed to be mean and angry. That's how I want my defensive linemen.
That's
fair. Mean and angry.
Yeah, I mean, I would take Quinnen Williams over Deron Payne.
I would too.
He can punch I ain't tripping over that one. Speaking of interior defensive linemen, well, I guess so I've been doing these mock drafts, and I've been seeing. Well, I haven't been doing them, but I've been watching them, and I've seen Myles Murphy fall to the Lions quite a few times. I don't think it's going to happen at this point. Just a little bit of tape that I'm watching. This guy, he looks like an absolute freak. But my question revolving around that, because I still would want to draft him either way, but what do the Lions do with a guy like James Houston at that point if they go edge like that?
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to be your situational pass rusher. You would probably take, a Myles Murphy who's 6'5" and 275 pounds, and you would move one of those guys inside, and then you would just pretty much have speed rushing off the edge with James Houston and things like that. So I ultimately think, it's still a possibility. I think James Houston's going to be pretty good. So I don't know if it's going to be near the top of their board. I think they're still going to want a Jalen Carter to potentially fall to them. And I know it sounds crazy, and I know a lot of people write it off and are like, yeah, he's going first overall. We haven't seen a defensive tackle go first overall since 1994 when Dan Wilkinson went to the Bengals. I mean, it's possible, but it doesn't happen all the time. And I don't know what happens with these quarterbacks, but it gets really interesting between picks 2 through 5. You look at what the Raiders are doing with potentially Derek Carr and kind of dangling them out there. I really struggle with the fact that Jalen Carter's just going to be off the board automatically. He could fall. I didn't think Sewell was going to be there at 7. I didn't think Aiden Hutchinson was going to be available at 2. And all this stuff, and the last 2 drafts we've kind of got luck of the draw, got the guys that we've wanted, and I think it's very possible that the same thing could happen here. We all want Jalen Carter. I think it's very possible. But if you go edge rusher, I don't think it diminishes James Houston at all. I still think he's a situational pass rusher. You see him on 3rd down, you see him on 2nd and longs, and you just play more so like a Myles Murphy on the short yardage. He's still going to rush the passer. I would be very interested where they would value like a Tyree Wilson. I know a lot of people think Tyree Wilson's kind of a top 4, top 5 player in this draft as well. So I would wonder where Detroit values players like Wilson and Murphy and really the edge rush class. But to double down at the position, I have a hard time believing that's what they do this year.
Yeah, and if you're looking at, dude, I just got really excited when you said Jalen Carter could fall. I hope that happens. I pray to God that happens. But if it doesn't, and obviously I think that interior defensive line is their biggest need. Is the guy like Brian Brise, is that something that you think is real at 6, or could you see the Lions possibly trading back? Because like you said, what's going on with Derek Carr, they're the pick after the Lions. So teams might want to jump up if they want to get a quarterback before the Raiders.
100%. I mean, I think Brian Brees is possible at 6. It's a little rich, but I think it's possible. And I don't think it's a bad pick by any means, because you're talking about a player that was the #1 ranked recruit. He's 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds, 305 pounds. He moves really well. He's coming off that torn ACL a season or 2 seasons ago, and he still played very well. He matched his totals statistically from tackles and tackles for loss and things like that to when he was a true freshman. So he's great for the community. I think he would be great for the locker room, and I think he would be great for what they're trying to build as far as culture. And you plug him in the middle, and I think it just helps with your defensive line. And when you go back to those 2011, 2012, 2013 years, when we have pretty good defenses here in Detroit, a lot of it was credit to having Nick Fairley and having Ndamukong Suh and having young pass rushers and things like that. And I think that's something that Detroit's going to try to get back to, is the identity in the trenches of having some youth, speed, power, athleticism at all 4 positions or all 3 positions, depending on how many defensive linemen they have on the field. So I think Brian Brees is definitely somebody that would be worth looking at 6. It's still pretty rich for me. If they traded back and took him, I wouldn't have a problem if they moved 2 spots or 3 spots. I know Carolina's sitting there at 8, so maybe they want to move up in front of Las Vegas and take that quarterback. I think that's possible. I don't know. I've struggled with 6. I really have. I don't know what we do when I do a mock draft, and I haven't put it out on Twitter yet. Every time I get to 6, I'm like, I don't know what I would do, because I don't honestly think I would be upset with any player they took. They all make sense.
I agree with you to the point that it all makes sense. The one guy, the 2 guys I actually have gotten to watch have been Miles Murphy and obviously Brees. They play on the same team. I'm with you where I think that's a little bit too rich of a pick with Brees, because you have to factor in he's playing alongside a mammoth of a human being, Miles Murphy, a damn explosive, I love Miles Murphy, buddy. I'm slowly falling in love with that guy. I don't think that he's going to be there. That's how good I think he is. But the Breesy thing, I'm not really sold on him yet. I don't think.
Yeah.
Just me watching him. It doesn't.
You said you like everybody there, and you like what they could do. And I know this is probably a reach, and I don't know what your thoughts are about it. But cornerback is also a big need for this team, for this defense. Would Kelly Ringo be realistic at all at number 6, or is that way too high?
For me, it's too high. I like the physicality that he plays with. I love his size at 6'2", 205. But I'm going to be honest, I think there are times that he really struggles against faster receivers. And I think in this division, where you look at what the Vikings have, and say what you want about the Packers, but short rebuild, long rebuild, they're going to turn that thing around probably pretty quick. And the Bears, there's some talent on that roster. Not much, but there's some talent. they've got the draft capital to potentially get better, especially offensively. So you bring a player like that, and if you play a lot of press man situations, or you're playing a lot of single high cover 1 because you're playing man coverage on the outside, and you've got Kirby Joseph 20 yards off the ball, you're really trusting on Kirby to show his range, which he has. But you're really hoping that Ringo doesn't get beaten. If he does, can he recover? Does he have the athleticism to recover? I think laterally he's okay. Vertically and flipping his hips, I think he struggles a little bit. So I think 6 is pretty rich for me, but I wouldn't be mad if they took a corner like a Joey Porter Jr. I think that's the kid that I'm really kind of dialing in on as being this potential top corner in the draft. And I think a lot of it has to do with the NFL bloodlines, but he's got great length for the position. I really think he is somebody that's a lot more fluid, and there's just kind of this toolbox of an arsenal for him to get better and improve. And I think there's a higher ceiling there and a lot more value and potential with Joey Porter, where I think you'd be having a lot of people upset that you took a corner at 6, again another corner in the top 10. But I think Porter Jr. is somebody that is going to move up some draft boards once he gets to talk to teams and really showcase what he's done as far as preparation and how he studies the game. And that's what put guys at the top of their position group, or really in the first round in the past. You look at Keir Elam out of Florida last year. Bills were sold on him because of the way that he studied the game of football. The same thing can happen here. So I think Porter Jr., if everything checks off, I think the Lions could be a team that really fall in love with him.
I'm with you too. I always love when I talk to guys like Russ or guys like Scott like last year too. Because like I have like these feelings about these players, but I'm never quite sure because I don't know. I'm not a talent evaluator. It's not. I don't do that at the level that you guys do. But like when I seen Kelly Ringo too, I was kind of felt like I don't know how to opportunistic plays. I feel like more than like anything, more than like shutdown versus like a Joey Porter. Like you said, the length. That's been my guilty pleasures. Fall in love with like those athletic super freak cornerbacks, like the bigger dudes.
That's what I've said this for months now, that Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr. would be my beautiful 1-2 in the first. That's back when we were expecting a top 3 pick with the Rams pick, and I thought that would make this defense a top 15 defense in the league if you get those two guys.
How hammered would we get if it's Jalen Carter at 6 and Joey Porter Jr. at 18?
Oh my God, dude! Yeah,
like Texan Darius Slade hammered.
Yeah, I would be insane. I'd be blacked out for like punching cars hammered.
Yeah, for sure. For fun this time.
Yeah,
though,
out of joy.
Russ, we got to pay some bills. Would you mind hanging through a commercial with us? We come back and talk some more.
Sure.
Sweet, man. I appreciate you. Where do you get your haircut, bro?
Lady Jane's. It's been a while, but you can come into Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment on your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, no appointment necessary, because at Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
The Monroe Street Midway has swapped out roller skating, basketball, and mini golf for a giant Arctic slide, winter bumper cars, an indoor arcade, and puck putt. Puck putt. Puck putt.
Puck putt.
Puck putt.
Puck putt.
Puck putt.
I think I could read that.
With free entry to the site, enjoy a variety of new activities aimed at creating exceptional winter experiences for everyone. Get to the Midway this winter to enjoy tasty treats while making magical memories during the most wonderful time of the year. Those tasty treats include but are not limited to burgers, pierogies, homemade chili, chicken sandwiches, mac and cheese bites, plus gluten-free and vegan goodies. And of course, coming soon, the Woodward Sports Winter Olympics. You'll be able to compete against Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards, Adam, Ryan Armani, Jeff Iafredi, the heavyweights, and all the Woodward Sports family in Monroe Street Midway games. So make sure you go downtown and check out the Monroe Street Midway presented by Bedrock Detroit.
What up, though? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, joined by my man Spimo Rex.
What up, though?
Young Chris in the TD booth, JB Smooth, the 1s and 2s. We're also joined by Russell Brown, the official Woodward Sports NFL scout. Make sure you guys are following him on Twitter. He's been posting stuff since the beginning of the season. Like, this guy's a true sicko.
Yeah, he told us like after the draft.
That beat was sick.
Beat was fire.
What was that, JB?
Desert hip hop.
Desert hip hop. Just free beds, unlicensed.music.com.
Desert Storm.
Russell Brown's also got a mixtape drop. Make sure you guys keep an eye out for that
check
one.
Check it out. It's fire. Heavyweights got a feature. So we just got done talking about a dream scenario. Dream scenario being Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr. If the Lions stay at 18, let's say, and Joey Porter Jr. and Kelly Ringo are both off of the board, they don't move up to try to grab one of those guys, what are other cornerbacks in this class that you could see being realistic possibilities for the Lions?
Well, I think Christian Gonzalez is probably the first one that is probably going to jump off the tape. super athletic, transferred from Colorado over to Oregon, had a really standout year as a 6'2", 200-pound corner in the Pac-12. I mean, he's got tons of experience. He was a 3-year starter at Colorado. He finishes his year starting at Oregon. He has really got good foot quickness, explosive hips, and I think he is somebody that with his length is probably going to be, I could see him being kind of like a boundary corner, which is what Sauce Gardner is. Now, he's not as talented as Sauce by any means, but I like hip fluidity when I watch corners. I like length. I like just overall athleticism. I think he's got that. I think he's instinctive, and I think he is somebody that's really going to stand out through this draft process, whether he's going, top 15 or top 25, somewhere between that 15 and 25 range. I think he'd be a great value at 18, and I think he is somebody that we certainly need. And I think really corner is a position of need, and I think a lot of people don't want to admit it because of some of the resources that we've spent there. We're hoping that guys like Mike Hughes get a contract extension and stick around, and Jerry Jacobs continues to ball out. We were hoping that Jeff Okudah, finished the season strong, but it kind of was murky there, so we'll see how that plays out. So I think there's going to be a lot of situations where they could go get a guy in free agency, but as we mentioned with the 18th pick, I think Gonzalez is a great one. I think Cam Smith from South Carolina is going to be another one, but really Devin Witherspoon from Illinois is another player. Some people believe he might be the best corner in the draft at 6 foot 180. You talk about hip fluidity, you talk about explosiveness, you talk about aggressiveness. He's one of the most aggressive corners in this draft. He's going to be very dominant in man coverage, and I think he is somebody that is probably going to be valued more so on the outside than in that nickel role. He played up near the box at times, but I do wonder, our team's going to value him more in the box as far as playing in the slot and things like that. So I just don't know where he translates to the next level. I like him more as maybe of a second-round option. And I will throw one more name at you just because, I'm crazy like that. But this is Julius Brents from Kansas State. This is my guy. I think he is somebody that is flown under the radar for whatever reason it is. Not enough people talk about him. He's going to go down to the Senior Bowl, probably going to get this, third-round grade when you talk to the scouts and the people in the media. But he's 6'4", 210 pounds, played at Iowa, transferred.
Wow.
He is, dude, when you think length, you think footwork, you think just athleticism and quickness. He's a stud, man, and he stood out down the stretch there for Kansas State when they played TCU. Even in their bowl game, he really stood out. So he's a stud. I think he is somebody that's sneaky good and potentially a sneaky first-rounder.
Hell yeah. I love that hat, by the way.
Thanks, man. Draft good players.
That's cool hat.
I do like that. That's the purpose of the draft.
Yeah, that's what it's
People
all
always
about.
bitch about position value. You just want a good player at the end of the day. That's what you're hoping for. I do want to ask, because there's a couple guys in Woodward Sports Chat, want to ask you this too. Oak specifically, if Brees is a little bit too rich for Detroit Lions blood at 6, who's there at 18, or who do you believe would be there at 18, and possibly even in the second round as options for the interior?
As far as interior defensive linemen go?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as I think about what the Lions want as far as who's going to play opposite of McNeil, right? McNeil's more of that, one technique, that 2-eye. Probably Brandon Dorland from Oregon. He would be somebody that really stands out for me. Maisie Smith from Michigan, I still really like. I know, there's some off-the-field stuff there.
He's shooting up draft boards.
Yeah, I think. Well,
I like him a lot.
Shooting up. Is that a gun joke because of the but yeah, I mean, you think of athleticism, he's super powerful, he's got a great push-pull move, he's got really good length. I mean, I don't think the interior defensive line class is super deep. I mean, I think there's some good players there, but I don't think it's as deep as other drafts, and maybe I'm just evaluating it wrong. Gervin Dexter from Florida is another name. I mean, he's super massive frame, but I think they're going to really value more of an athlete there, somebody that's very versatile, that can kind of play in a variety of spots. And I think Dorland and stuff like that are players that really stand out for me. So I think that you look at those two names. I don't know if there would be another guy there at 18. I think, once you get past Breesy and Jalen Carter, I think that it kind of drops off quite a bit. So I think you would really have to look at it in the second and third round, and maybe there's a free agent out there that they take on a cheap 1 or 2 year deal that they hope kind of catches on and just continues to contribute on their defensive line.
For sure. And I don't want to go
Thug it out with bugs.
Asking Brad Holmes of you, of guys like, Malcolm Rodriguez or James Houston, which I know you would know because you're a sicko, but like, who could be the Amon-Ra St. Brown of this draft? Like, who could be someone in those later mid rounds that actually stands out and actually becomes a legitimate player and a legitimate contributor?
Well, you've mentioned wide receiver, and it's funny you mentioned, I don't want to say, St. Brown, who's not that type of player, but I will say Charlie Jones from Purdue. He's a draftable player, and he's 6 foot 188. He's been all over the map. I mean, he went to Iowa, went to Buffalo. He's been all over the place as far as colleges, but he really caught on with Purdue in that vertical passing game. And not saying Detroit's a good fit for him, because it could be, but he's going to have to be in more of of a spread offense, and he's able to align in the slot. And he's going to be able to run 5-6 yard stick routes, or he's going to be able to run 10 to 12 yard curl routes. He's going to be able to run dig routes, but he is efficient as a short and intermediate route receiver, and he's got this toughness about him. And I think he's going to be, anywhere between that 4th, 5th, 6th round. Currently, he gets to go to the Senior Bowl. Maybe he shoots up draft boards there, but I think he is somebody that could really catch on with the team. You think of, kind of that classic slot receiver from the New England Patriot days. Could it be New England if Jacoby Myers isn't brought there? We'll see. And then another one, Nathaniel Dell from Houston. A lot of people love him. He's 5'10", 155. Very as far as size, very, underwhelming there. But he's quick, and he plays much bigger than he's listed at. So I do wonder where teams are going to value him. But we've seen this in years past, 2nd, 3rd round receivers where they get all the hype, and then you see them in the NFL and it doesn't match up for them. We've seen it with guys like Tywan Taylor. We're seeing it, currently with like Tutu Atwell. We'll
Jalen Reagor.
We'll see what happens with Sky Moore and some of these guys that get all this buzz, and then, they're small school guys. But I think Nathaniel Dell can figure it out. But if I had to really bet on it, I think Charlie Jones is going to be one of those guys that's going to go in, put in the work, first guy in, last guy to leave, and he screams 7-8 year pro in the NFL.
Hell yeah.
I got one other question. Obviously, everyone's talking defense a lot. Defense. But I almost feel like, where'd he go? We still got him? Okay. I almost feel like I'm not opposed to going offense, I guess I should say. Like, if Quentin Johnston's there, like 18, which I don't think he's gonna last that long, but like, obviously you open to B.J. Robinson, but are you open to a guy like Quentin Johnston? Because we talked about DeAndre Hopkins yesterday. Obviously that's a pipe dream. That's not gonna happen. It's not anything Detroit Lions should even think about doing. But if Quentin Johnston's there and you're at 18, are you pulling the trigger on that, or you have any beef with going offense if there's a star like that?
I'm not opposed to the idea. I mean, I think the more weapons you can bring into your offense, especially if Ben Johnson's your offensive coordinator, the only good things I think can happen from it. But if you take that receiver, I think you set an expectation right off the rip, right? Like, you think, okay, this guy's going to come in, catch 60 passes for me, and at his frame, 6'4", 218, he's got great size for the position. He's a prototypical X-receiver who reminds everybody, of kind of like a DeAndre Hopkins light type of player. He can push the ball vertically. He can do stuff after the catch. I do wonder, what does he do against press? You look at what Georgia did to him. Ringo kind of locked him up at times, and he only had one catch in that game. So he was like locked up and shut down and really non-existent in the national championship game. So I do have some, concerns there. But overall, the tape speaks for itself, and when he gets the ball in his hands, he's a dangerous player. So he's going to have to go to a place where they scheme it up and put it in his hands. And I think if he's there at 18, it's worth looking at. I don't know if they're going to roll the dice there, especially when they took Jamison Williams and moved up. And I'll be curious what they do with the Josh Reynolds and the DJ Charks of the world. But if they end up letting some of those guys go and they don't bring them back, I mean, you'd have to consider it. So if they do go this route, I'm not opposed to Quentin Johnston just because of his size and what he can do. I would be very curious where they would value like a Jordan Addison from USC, 6 foot 175. I mean, his releases and the way he runs routes.
I like him a lot.
Man, he moves like kind of like a Devontae Adams in a way, and I think he's pretty talented. And I think he's the best receiver in the draft personally. But I don't know if he'd be there. And if he was there, I would be curious if they would value a guy like that with St. Brown and Jamison Williams. I think those guys would really benefit Jared Goff and play more to his style as far as quarterback play.
I agree. And before we let you go, I just want to get this quick in because the chat's blowing up about it. We did talk about it a little bit the last time you were on, but outside of Bijan Robinson, the Lions probably want to get a running back at some point. Obviously, they're hoping to re-sign Jamal. Swift is closing to the end of his deal. What are your top running backs that you could see the Lions going after outside of Bijan?
Well, this one might be a little rich, but Zach Charbonnet from UCLA, former Michigan back, 6'1", 220. He runs very well, and he's a pass catcher. I think he can run between the tackles. He's explosive out in space. I think he can bring his pad level down. Some people are always kind of timid when you deal with a running back that's kind of taller than 6 foot. When you get into 6'1", 6'2", stuff like that, you always worry about kind of their center of gravity. Too much of their chest is revealed and stuff like that. Charbonnet, it's a little different. I think he runs with a different style. I think he would kind of fit with what Detroit's looking to do. And then another one, Chase Brown from Illinois, probably a little bit more up their alley as far as day 3 type of pick, 5'11", 200, very high volume type player that had a lot of touches in college, but he's got kind of this aggressive side to him. He will run through your face, and I think Detroit's looking for guys like that. They don't need this sexy explosiveness to the running back position. They're happy with the players that they have. Obviously, they're hoping Swift continues to grow and become that guy, but I think Chase Brown would be a nice compliment. I am curious what they do with Justin Jackson. They relied on him at times at the end of the year here. I think they're going to bring him back, and I wouldn't be surprised if our backfield is Swift, Williams, and Justin Jackson, to be honest.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Wouldn't be mad at that. That's
I would
for
not
sure.
be opposed to that one. Russ, I appreciate you joining us, man. Anything you want to shout that you got going on coming up here soon that you want people to check out?
No, I mean, just smash the follow button on Twitter at Russ NFL Draft. I'll be down at the Senior Bowl in 2-3 weeks, so there'll be a lot of content there and a lot of videos and interviews with players on my Twitter. So find it there. I'll be jumping on here with you guys probably quite a bit, at least probably once a week between now and the draft.
Hell yeah!
It's 100 days till the draft, and then it's draft time in Detroit because it'll be in Detroit. So we're gonna have some fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's so dope. I can't wait for that draft in Detroit. That's gonna be dope.
So you no to the coming on drunk thing though.
I can't make any promises.
I appreciate you joining us, man. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Russ.
Thanks, fellas.
I'll see you, brother.
As always, man, dude.
Russ the GOAT.
That kind of knowledge, man. Like when we talked about, we did a breakdown with him. 2 days after the draft last year, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm already looking at guys for next year." I was like, "Dude, damn."
When he gave me his book, it was like this big.
Yeah, how thick it was, dude. Pause. As that guy does more work, more research, more homework than anybody I know. It's impressive the amount of work.
I think he was either top 5 or top 10 most accurate mock drafts last season.
Yeah, dude knows his shit, man. It's awesome to pick apart a mind like that.
Man.
But if you're sick of all this brain talk, big smart guys, you just want some meat. Just feel like, man, eat some meat. You can get it from the butchery because the official meat supplier of the Woodward Sports Network is the butchery. You can call 248-682-2697. Yes, 248-682-COWS. Or move on over and order online at thebutcherysl.com. Shipping included for Woodward Sports customers. The Butchery. Meats, eats, and treats. Sandwiches to die for. Wagyu meats and artisan breads inspired by the legend Chef Dave. Only the best of the best for our meat-loving customers. An old school butcher shop from a new school perspective.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetter8.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
I just realized.
Oh, hey,
from
look,
yesterday.
it's me. Let me tell you about Matrix Home Solutions in here somewhere, guys, because they've been doing it for years. Now, honestly, you want a man cave? You want the heavies come over, party, drink, watch some football? Make sure your stuff's right. And if it's not called Matrix Home Solutions, Matrix Home Solutions, you go to any home improvement project. Looking for a new man cave? They're the ones, the basement remodel experts. They also specialize in bathrooms and kitchens. Smitty spends a lot of time in the bathroom with his dog. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. The heavyweight teams, you know. An A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. I know a lot of situations you deal with construction, they're BSing, they're not getting stuff done on time. An A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. That means there's no complaints. They do this stuff perfectly, guys. Call them at 888-594-8844 or go to matrixhomesolutions.com.
Very well done.
Make sure
Off the cuff.
Yeah, I got
chili
it.
peppers too.
Yeah, because you weren't here yesterday. You're good.
Goddamn cat.
Yeah, because the cat.
Dude, it was my cat's half birthday. It was
That is when I do get upset
day.
about it. Is that it was for your cat's birthday? That's just the weirdest.
It was for his half birthday.
Easy came here
His
on his
6 months
son's birthday.
Yeah.
You couldn't show up for your cat's half birthday.
Everybody parents different. We're just different.
No. You're not a parent, friend.
Oh, that was
You are
pretty
not
funny.
a parent.
That's how Eazy and I actually bonded. Was it's through parenthood. I go to him for advice. He goes to me for advice sometimes, and you know, I think our children are better off for it.
What
Wouldn't
advice have
agree?
you asked Chris on parenting?
Zero.
Lots of stuff.
None. Absolutely none.
Lots of stuff.
Chris is my son. All right.
A dog walkie.
Oh, dog walkie. Chris actually did text me today. He's like, "Hey, do you want that picture of me and my cat for like a graphic or like a thumbnail?" I was like,
That's what I thought you were planning.
No.
Thumbnail would have been funny.
Yeah, for the thumbnail yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't even send it in.
Well, you said it after the show yesterday. Don't act like you said it before the show.
No.
You said it
You should
after
know,
the
Chris.
show.
You're in show business.
No,
You should
JB
know.
was there. It was the day before.
No, it wasn't. It was the day.
JB, tell him.
It was the day of.
Literally the day before. And you showed me the picture of you cuddling your little cat.
Oh, it was. You're right.
I mean, I didn't see a picture, but if it's in the text, I can go back and look.
Oh, no, it was in person. It was in person. He remembers now.
No, actually, you're right. 100% right. I just pieced it together. That was my B. 100%.
Crenshaw.
So he asked me if I want a picture of his cat today. I didn't text him back.
Sent it anyways, you know.
You did send it anyways.
vibes.
I did just beat that.
I said enjoy it.
We've kind of had like premature conversations about this, and I kind of hope that we could. I feel bad actually. Russ probably would have liked to be a part of this conversation too. Speaking of Detroit Lions drafting cornerbacks, but speaking of cornerbacks that have been drafted by the Detroit Lions, one of the actually I think this is the highest cornerback they've ever drafted was Jeff Okudah.
Yes, I would say so.
Number 3 overall. We've had again premature conversations on it, but
When did they draft Dre Bly?
that's a good question. I do not know. Jamie, can you pull that for us? Jamie, can you pull that up? Actually, I'm kind of curious. Dre Bly's draft position, or did they sign him for agency?
I'm pretty sure they drafted him.
We're not old enough to remember.
Yeah.
I apologize. Actually, someone in the chat's got to know. What are they saying? Nothing on Dre Bly.
Nothing. They're talking about Brandon Katz.
Dre Bly was second round.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
1999 draft.
Nice.
Dog.
Yeah, Dre Bly was the man.
He's coaching North Carolina. Jeff Okudah held opposing quarterbacks to 59% completion percentage when it threw in his direction. I had a pick 6. I'd say the season-changing play for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, it helped spring their streak of good football for sure.
Yeah.
Against the Bears when he had that pick 6. And, you know, we talked about why he was getting benched. We talked about why he was moving down, different things like that. And they did say that he had an injury. That's why he didn't play against the Packers. And I know people are like, oh, yeah, he had an injury, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, he probably did. Because even as he did play poorly against Carolina, I will admit that.
Yeah.
But the whole team played poorly against Carolina. It wasn't just Jeff Okudah. And even with that, he was still your best cornerback on the roster. I love Jerry Jacobs, and I think he does very well, but I still think Jeff Okudah was having a better year, a better season than Jerry Jacobs. And you want him out there against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, against a guy like Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs or whoever he would be lined up against. And I do believe it was injury, and it made me feel better about it that they came out and said it was injury, because when he got benched against Chicago, I didn't understand it at first, because it's not like he wasn't getting exposed. They didn't even target him. He let up 0 catches, and eventually they came out to say that it was an injury. He was dealing with an injury, so that made more sense. But I expect Okudah to have a good year next year. I expect him to come back and have a great season, like he showed for the majority of this season, that he's a first-round level talent at cornerback, that he is a guy who can go out there and be a very competent to above-average cornerback in the National Football League. And he's only going to get better with the more time he has, the more comfortable he gets. He saw it at the end of the season. He started to get better until he dealt with that injury. So I expect him to go out there and have a good season again next year.
Yeah, and I just wanted to bring it up because JB put it in the group chat. He wanted to talk about it today. And I wanted to look at, I guess, people closer to like his salary cap, which is this next year would be like $10 million. By the way, to inform people too, you cannot cut Jeff Okudah and save money. If the Detroit Lions cut Jeff Okudah, they would actually go negative $10 million, according to overthecap.com. But I looked at other salary prices around him. Ahmad Gardner, obviously that's Sauce Gardner. He was drafted around the same position, so that's obviously why they're similar in salary. Kenny Moore is another name that's on that list. Are you guys familiar with him?
Kenny Moore?
Yeah, he plays for the Colts.
Yeah.
Michael Davis, the Chargers. You familiar with him?
What about trading for a guy like?
I'd be open to that.
Stephon Gilmore from the Colts.
He's actually around the same salary cap too.
Yeah.
He might be free. I'm gonna check his contract. But JB, I know that you want to talk about this specifically. So you guys have something juicy for us. You trying to cut Jeff Okudah? What's going on, man?
No, I'm not trying to cut Jeff Okudah. Actually, this conversation goes back to what myself, Spencer, and Ryan Lentz were talking about earlier today, and just going back to that 2020 draft. I mean, 3rd overall. To me, I feel like he just hasn't produced as that 3rd overall pick. Now, I know first season, dealing with injuries back and forth, then he only played 1 game that following season. This year has been the only time where he's actually got that full run. And then come towards the end, he was getting benched, which kind of brings up that question. Was it truly injuries, or is maybe the coaching staff seeing something a little bit more in him that they don't see him as their perfect corner that they wanted? Which, I mean, I can see that as well too. But I still like him, as a player, as a person. I mean, the dude had over 103 solo tackles this season. So, like, come on. Mm-hmm. I think he might be fitted a little bit better if he wanted to do that safety spot. But I know he doesn't want to move positions like that. I still want to keep him, but I think he might be fitted a little bit better as a 2nd string corner rather than the 1st.
Yeah, and that's what I'm at too. I think he's like the CB2.
Yeah, for sure.
In the NFL, he's not a lockdown guy. Although, I mean, Brad Holmes coming off his press conference said that he basically just played his rookie season, which take that how you want. Again, Brad Holmes definitely knows football better than us. I don't think he'd be talking up Jeff Okudah though if he hadn't had that true perspective of him. And they've been pretty transparent in the way they feel about guys, the guys that want to see work, the guys that want to see like grind to it and just get a little bit better. The whole regime, actually. I mean, you could look at Deuce Staley this offseason talking about DeAndre Swift playing through injuries, and which he did this season. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but you obviously knew what the high ankle sprain he'd been playing through. But he also played through like a separated shoulder too. That's why you saw that KT tape on him. But that's what the Lions organization asked of him. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it may not have been consistently enough, but DeAndre Swift still produced for this team in winning fashion too, if I'm not mistaken. And you may be correct me on this one if I'm wrong. But the Detroit Lions are 9-5 with DeAndre Swift in the lineup. Is that what I heard Ryan Armani say yesterday?
I think you're right. 9-5.
Yesterday,
yeah. He also brought up the whole idea that since Aubrey Pleasant left, it kind of seems like Jeff Okudah's performance has gone down while the rest of the team has gone up.
I don't
think that as well too?
Nah.
I mean, it's really only gone down with those games that he was dealing with that injury.
Yeah.
Were the bad games he had. I'd say the rest of the season, the rest of the games he's played, he's been fairly consistent. He's done what he's needed to do. Obviously great in the run game, great in stepping up and making tackles. And yeah, I agree with what you're saying that he's probably not that cornerback 1, probably not that lockdown guy that you want out there, but that happens. Not everybody is that. Not everybody is Richard Sherman. Not everybody is a Sauce Gardner. It does suck. We talked about this I think last week about like it looks a lot worse when you have all these guys coming into the National Football League that are that like a J.C. Horn, like a Patrick Surtain, like a Sauce Gardner, that are all pretty lockdown corners at their position. But you know, it happens, man. I appreciate what Hefe brings to the team, and I think he's going to be a very vital part of their defense next season and going forward. I expect them to re-sign him, and I expect them to play a good role.
Yeah, I'm looking at his yards or his stats in the season. His worst games in terms of coverage. The first one would have been against Seattle. He left 124, and then obviously DK Metcalf and him had that beef that had leading up to that one, or just trash talk back and forth. Following that game against New England, only 19 yards allowed. Against Dallas, only 22 yards allowed. Miami, which reminds you of the receivers that they had healthy in that game too. Waddle, Hill, and Tyreek Hill. Only let up 18 yards in that one, and that was on that final fourth or third conversion, whatever the hell they had. 112 against Green Bay, the first game around. 0 against Chicago, which, I mean, Chicago kind of sucks anyway. 17 against New York, 9 against Jacksonville, 10 against Minnesota, 125 against the Jets.
These are yards allowed?
Yep, these are yards allowed in the coverage. Yeah. And then 59 against Carolina. And where I think they're disappointed against Carolina was at the run defense as well, which he's typically pretty good at. But Chris is yelling at me to go to break, so can you tell us about Guardian Alarm?
I will, because we've been talking about defense a lot, so why don't I tell you about Guardian Alarm's defense, because it's a new year, so let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Their professionals take the time to recommend security and automated solutions specific to your needs. They're 24/7 local monitoring. You can call them anytime, day or night, and know that Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. And of course, technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call them right now at 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT right now, and let them know Woodward Sports sends you.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Custom Health Centers has helped our very own Ryan Armani lose upwards of 25 pounds. You can see it right here.
Wow.
That's what he used to look like, and that's what he looks like now, and it's all thanks to Custom Health Centers.
Jacked.
But in all seriousness, he did enlist the help of Custom Health Centers to lose some weight.
Look at his
and you
tits.
can do the same
God.
thing. All you have to do is call them at 844-789-8446. That's 844-789-8446. Call Custom Health Centers today and let them help you reach your ideal weight.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Have a seat, man. Get out of the mic.
Yeah, get comfortable.
Yeah.
Get comfortable.
So we thought he got, we thought he pushed out, but he showed up.
Yeah.
Anson's here, and he brought wings.
I did, man. Speaking of titties, let's add to them right here. Now I got there, and they were like, "We're out of wings," so I got some dank ass sliders, man. Let me bring it to you.
Sliders? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Hell yeah.
Man, so I'm the villain today, huh?
Yep.
I'm the villain today.
Yeah, kinda. What up, though? Welcome back to Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, joined by my man Spin Morax. We got Anson. Stirring up some trouble, but he brought burgers, so it's cool.
Yeah,
It's definitely
yeah.
cool.
Well,
All right,
I
man.
think I'm here today to continue the debate, maybe put it to bed.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Lions can put this debate to bed next season.
I'm with
And
you.
that debate is the SOL debate. And I am sorry for everybody that's at home watching, because I love you guys.
Yes.
Like I love the Lions. But the fact is,
see what
this
you're
is
doing
a
here.
12 and 22 regime.
Yes.
All right? And we could talk about how they won more in a season than the last regime. But this is the same team that midway through the season, maybe not you guys, but the rest of Detroit News Nation was talking about firing half the coaching staff. So as great as it feels, now we talked about the hope, and it's realistic hope, the draft capital, the player development, all of those things. And yes, it does feel bigger and realer than it ever has before, but it's felt exciting and hopeful, and this guy's for real, these guys draft, we've got some pieces. I mean, when we traded Roy Williams for all those draft picks, we thought we were on our way. And my thing is we have to hold not only the team accountable, but us as fans by expecting more. And a 9-8 non-playoff season is not the end of SOL. It's the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of the transition, hopefully, to the end. But at the end of it, we're still left outside looking in at the playoffs. Next season, we can make the playoffs. And I'm going to say, if we go out and we lose in the first round and it's bad, it's the same old Lions. And I know that hurts to hear. I know that I'm going to get some flack from you young fellas. So let's hear it. What you got?
So we've talked about this before. We talked about at the draft party. You said yourself that Brad Holmes is possibly the best GM that the Lions have ever had.
I believe that.
You believe that. And drafting players of this caliber is something, especially in the later rounds, that the Lions have not seen in a long time.
Sure.
Building through the draft, building sustainable success, building success that can be repeated.
Pittsburgh Steelers style.
Pittsburgh Steelers style, San Francisco 49er style. Doing things like that is not something that the Lions have done. The last time, or the first time you got to find a player in the 6th round that the Lions have drafted that is actually a good player, that is actually someone who's a starter and made things happen, was Quandre Diggs in the 6th round in 2015. But you're looking at this draft, they got 2 of them. And the draft before that, they got a 4th rounder who is graded as the 2nd best receiver in the NFL per PFF. I just think it's different to me, first of all, when I understand we haven't watched enough, we haven't experienced the full reel of SOL and felt the full hate, but my father is 70 years old. My father has been a Detroit Lions fan for upwards of 60 years. And he looks at me and says this is different. He looks at me and says this is not SOL, because they're going on the road and beating playoff teams. They're at home beating playoff teams by a lot, beating division champions by a lot. They're 5-1 in their division this year, beating the Packers on the road when it didn't even matter. When excuse me, Slider. Slider got me. When all they had to do, the reason they were going out there to play was to play spoiler.
Yep.
And they went out there and they slapped Aaron Rodgers in the mouth.
Yep.
And that's why I feel like it's different for me, is the quality of wins in a season that rightfully so, a lot of people felt was lost. You looked at the roster going into it and were like, it's not looking great. They finish it with a winning record. They finish it going 5-1 in the division. They finish it with a road win in Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. And you know, you said quality of wins, very important. The quality of losses, aside from about 2 of them, were pretty strong. You know, you look at the Philly game, a lot of really close losses, things that you hope to correct on the coaching side and on the player, you know, maturation side. We've got the youngest roster in the league. It's awesome. It's felt like it's never felt before. But shit happens to the Lions, boy. I'm just telling you, these guys, they have found a way to destroy your hopes so quickly, so many times. And what I'm so worried about is, as fans, being pleased enough with this where we're going to put that to rest, and then we get another 9-8 season next year, or heaven forbid a 6-11. And let me ask you this: what do you think the spread will be at the start of the season for wins and losses coming out of Vegas for the Lions?
10.5.
Oh, you think
8.5 or 9.5?
That's where I'm sitting, is at 9.5, I think. And when we look at this, you mentioned, you prefaced with the 5-1 in the division. Is that going to happen again? You know,
I can see it happening again.
I sure hope so. I mean, the Packers look like they're on the way down, but you can never count Rodgers out. May not retire. Vikings are there. You know, I don't see them slipping anytime soon. Whether they can gain a lot and become better, I still think they played over their head this season. The Bears will get better. So still, to go on the road in the black and blue division is a difficult thing to do and come home with a win.
Yeah.
They're going to give us a tough schedule. Granted, I think we had easily one of the toughest schedules in the NFL this year. I'm sure you guys have the stats on that.
Yeah.
But this is it's a dangerous thing. I told you guys after the show last week, if any of you guys know anybody that's got a substance abuse problem, in and out of rehab, and then there's that year where like, man, he's doing so well. I think he's finally kicked it. But the people close to him, they know. Just hold your horses. Let's see how he does in 2 years. You know, and that's where I'm at right now. I want to believe. My hope is high, but I have to be realistic. I have to sell some realism to everybody in Detroit, which has to be stapled to patience, because they may only be a 9-8 team, but that doesn't mean they're done. Letting go of the SOL moniker right now gives them a free pass next year, and they don't have that.
No.
They don't have that.
If they have a 9-8 season next year, if they don't win the NFC North next year, I will be disappointed.
I don't think it gives them a free pass, but my whole point is you can't call it the same old lines, because it's not that. You don't necessarily have to call it the brand new lines, which I know is a trend. That's what everyone's saying, and I like saying it too. It's fun to say. It feels good to say because you want to believe in those things, right? But my issue with it is it's not the same old lines. You don't have to call it the brand new lines. You have to call them Super Bowl champions. You have to call them anything of the sorts. But don't call them the same old Lions. Like the stuff that we're seeing with Brad Holmes, draft day literally feels like Christmas at this point because we're getting something.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, throughout the 3 days, 3 days of Christmas, call it Hanukkah, whatever you want to call it.
So, are you basing this on 17 games this season or the last 9?
I'm basing it on the drafts. I'm basing it on Brad Holmes. I'm basing it on fighting an Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round. I'm basing them on. I'm talking home runs at every single beginning of the round, first round. You have Aiden Hutchinson, who just, and I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Donald, but his rookie numbers looking better than Aaron Donald. Although Aaron Donald's more of an interior guy. We just saw it. We had a shout out Woodward Sports. They posted that. You have Payne Sewell in the beginning of the round. Then you go in the later rounds. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez, Kirby Joseph, a 3rd round guy. And all contributing to that 9-8 season that you're talking about within their first year. Kirby Joseph, by the way, I mean, we've talked about it during the live stream, only his 2nd year playing the position at the pro level. The Brad Holmes has never been a part of the same old Lions. And that's why I want to keep it away. I'm not going to tell anybody they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to tell anybody they're winning the division. I know that's your expectations.
That's my expectations.
You're not guaranteed or nothing like that.
No, I'm not guaranteed.
I haven't uttered that yet because I'm with you, right?
Now, see, that's the deal. Is back inside of you, there's this reluctance to fully go all in.
But it's reality.
It is,
but
reality.
It's not the same old Lions as much.
But it is. It's that reality is the attachment to the fact that they have been same old Lions for so long, and until they get in the playoffs and win a game, it's just hopeful same old Lions.
For me, I don't think so because of what you look at how this team has flipped the script in 1 year.
Yep.
Coming from the worst roster in the National Football League the year prior to a roster at the beginning of the year that was filled with rookies and filled with hope, but you didn't really know what you had, to now these guys, some of these guys are going to be legitimate players and legitimate players for a long time, is what impresses me the most. Now, if this was the same old Lions to me, is when you have a Matthew Stafford as your quarterback who, as much as you don't like him or whatever, he's got one of the best arms in the NFL. You have arguably the best receiver in the history of football. You have a top 5 defense like the year they did in 2014. You have it all set up for you there, and then you go and choke. That is same old Lions. But to me, what they're doing and how they built it with rookies and through young talent, it's just I don't know, it's something else. They haven't even reached their full potential yet. So when they get to their full potential, if they fall on their face, that will be something, but I don't see that happening.
Let's give him some time to gather his thoughts, because I do, again, my biggest difference is the draft stuff. I don't think the same old Lions ever had a Brad Holmes or back-to-back drafts looking like this. So I want to give Anson his time to gather his thoughts. That's where he'll sell me on the same old Lions stuff. But you tell us about
And I do have a couple. He was talking about 17 games or 9-game stretch.
Tell us about
I got
Big
a couple
Boy.
17-game numbers we could talk about after I tell you guys about Big Boy, because wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort food from Big Boy. Try the classic meatloaf loaf or Cajun chicken Alfredo. What about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. They have the Lumberjack, Santa Fe Garden, or Blockbuster. Stop at your local Big Boy today and satisfy those taste buds.
Potato pancakes, though, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love me some potato pancakes.
This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner jumper. Tweet us. Hop on the YouTube chat. Slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Chili Peppers Tanning's where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Spotless, sanitized rooms with trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club where they got all the best deals. They beat all competitors by $5.
$5?
$5. And while you're there, do yourself a favor. Pick up the Australian Gold. That's what Eazy gets every time. The Designer Skin, the Caltan, and Swedish Beauty Lotions are also great options. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your Vitamin D headquarters. 27 locations and more on the way.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm Spencer Exter. He is Speak Easy. We got Chris Blatty in the TD booth, JB Smooth on the ones and twos, and we are joined by our friend and esteemed colleague Anson Wells as he tries to convince us that it is still SOL. So, I understand where you're coming from, and the analogy you made about the substance abuse problems. I feel that Sheila Ford, Brad Holmes, and Dan Campbell are the SMA that this Detroit Lions franchise needed because they're pulling them out of the dirt. They're supporting them. They're giving them somebody to talk to. And another thing you mentioned was, were you talking about 9-game figures or 17-game figures? Here's some 17-game figures that go completely against the SOL narrative. This Detroit Lions team had the least turnovers in the NFL this season. This Detroit Lions team was top 10 NFL in least penalties for, or least penalties against in the NFL this season.
Weird.
And this is the youngest team in the league that has one singular player above the age of 30 on their roster. So Dan Campbell has these studs that Brad Holmes is drafting, and he's coaching them up right. He's coaching them to be disciplined, and he's coaching them to take care of the ball. Because the biggest thing for me with SOL, other than losing in playoff games, is shooting yourself in the foot with penalties, costly turnovers in key situations, and not making the right play.
Through 17 games, I hear those numbers. They're very impressive. But at week 8, how were you feeling? Were you feeling like we had these young studs?
I liked what I saw.
Because they didn't start really being cultivated until right around that time. I kind of liked what they saw. You felt like they were in the right direction. But my deal is 75 years. 75 years is not undone in one.
Yeah.
It is not undone in 1 year. I mean, just going back in 31 years are not undone in one season. And you can pull out the all 17 game stats. The fact of the matter is we only won 9 of those. Those stats, in fact, would beget a better record. And to me, that is a perfect symptom of SOL. Now, next season, the coaching should be better to start the season, get these boys off to a better start. We're not fighting, we're not fighting the undertow the whole way just to get to 500 and hope to be able to get over it in the last week of the season. I believe that this coaching staff has matured to that point where that can happen. I believe all the pieces are in place. The players, the capital, the development, the coaching, the system, all of it is in place to put that SOL to rest. But I can't do it after one season.
Yeah.
Show it to me next year. Now, I will say this. Second half of this season, I was expecting wins. It's been a decade since
I was going to say, when do you expect wins?
But every year where you get the good season, this is our year next year. This is our year next year. I mean, Jared Goff has an injury in the offseason.
That's not SOL. If someone gets injured, that's not SOL.
Listen, there's some juju on this team.
All right, Kanye.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about Bobby Lane, man.
Hey,
At
the curse was
airport.
lifted.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels. I hope you're right.
Jeff Daniels lifted the curse, and then they started winning.
I don't think Jeff Daniels was alive when that curse was laid down. He is not allowed to take it away.
Peyton Manning was there too, though.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning wasn't alive either.
But he's like a football god, so he can remove curses and do those kinds of things.
But I hope that you're right, and I do believe that they are on that path. I actually, in my heart, believe that this time next year, we're going to be talking about the playoffs, and you guys are going to be like, I told you. And I really believe that that's where we're headed. And it's so exciting. But we have to hold us as fans just as accountable as the team has. And letting them off the hook for a 9-win season, that's not grit. That's not a change in culture.
I don't think I'm letting them off the hook. I'm excited for what I'm seeing.
Sure, but it's still SOL.
I don't know.
It's not SOL. All right, hold on, because this is my SOL thing that is different. Like I said before the break, was the Brad Holmes, and then the back-to-back draft classes. I'm talking about Amon-Ra St. Browns. I'm talking about Payne Sewell. I'm talking about Kirby Joseph, Malcolm Rodriguez. Long list.
Houston, come on.
So if it's SOL, is there a scenario that relates prior? Within the SOL era.
Yeah. After 91, and we lost 2 of our all-pro offensive linemen to freak-ass stuff. And then, obviously the Cowboys were just nasty as hell. But then you got a real good Reggie. The preacher Reggie. I can't think of his last name for some reason. Reggie White. Thank you. Buried at negative yards in a playoff game, and this is the stuff that happens to this franchise. So until we get over that hump, honestly, I'm not letting go of SOL until they win a playoff game. That's how I feel at this point. Like, give me 3 straight years of 10 wins and no playoff wins.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying,
is that SOL or no?
I'm just saying that's not SOL though. Like I'm again like these.
But Caldwell did the same thing, right?
No. I'm talking about Brad Holmes. A+ draft classes back to back. Has that ever happened in the SOL era?
I'd have to do a little more work, but they drafted very well in the late early 90s and late 80s, early 90s. Benny Blades, Barry Sanders, Rodney Peete was a super serviceable quarterback.
Andre Ware.
Well,
I'm just saying it's not the same, man. Well, Brad Holmes is hitting homers at every level of this thing.
He's in the last half of this season. Yeah, he came together and has 3 guys that he looks like he really picked up on the defensive side of the ball. But he's got to hit again. And this draft, with all this capital, he's got to do what he's shown he can do to add that talent to take this team into the playoffs and to get them a win, the first or the second one in 75 years, man. I'm sorry, but one season is not enough for me. I'm conservative when it comes to the line. I'm hopeful, but I'm conservative.
And I understand, like, they made some good draft picks in those days, but you look at the Barry Sanders draft. Barry Sanders, obviously Hall of Famer, best running back of all time, can't talk about that. John Ford, as your number 2 slot pick, 5 receptions in his career. Mike Utley, your 3rd pick, 1 started game in his career.
What? No. Mike Utley was a Pro Bowler who broke his neck, bro.
Mike Utley got paralyzed.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, sorry.
Now we got Eric Andelsek, another guy that's taken in that era, who was an All-Pro.
Ray Crockett, good pick. Good pick. Yeah, 36 career interceptions, 15.5 sacks. Lawrence Pete, 3.5 sacks in his career. Jerry Woods, what is this?
Don't know who that is.
18 games played in his career. Chris Parker, 0 games played in his
Now
career.
go through these next few years here. You've got some guys that we picked that looked really promising, and then they didn't develop. Again, just team, this regime, they develop players, and that is going to be the key to ending SOL. I get it, fellas. It feels so different. It's so damn hopeful.
It is different. You've never.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
But they're still SOL until they win a damn playoff game, man.
Oh, this old man.
Until they win a damn playoff game.
All right.
And I see, what I've seen is 40 and up, they're on my ball. In their 30s, they're kind of, I think SOL's over. 20s, wait, well, don't say that. They would get mad about it.
In the Woodward Sports chat, if you're 40 and older, type in SOL. If you're with Anson, if you're with the heavies, BNL. We got to do a Swiss and we'll come back.
That was the guy who broke his neck on the field.
Thumbs up.
Mike Utley, yeah.
Oh, man.
Matt had him on the show, actually. You're a cool guy.
Yeah.
If you listen to that guy talk, I promise you'll be pumped up for at least a week.
Yeah.
He gives you no excuses to be sorry or sad about
if
anything.
you break your neck and you keep going, man, he's
boss.
That is boss.
He would come to games in his wheelchair and everything, man. He was an inspiration for the team.
That's awesome.
But when they lost Andelsek the following offseason, he was hit by a semi planting flowers in his front yard. He died.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another offensive lineman.
Oh my!
And then
that's some same old Lions.
And so exactly.
Let me get this Swiss read real quick.
When does that happen,
guys?
Jesus.
Call our guy Mark. Email our guy Mark at Swiss Insurance at mark@swissins.com. It's mark@swissins.com. Don't end up. Who was his name that got hit when he's planting flowers?
Eric Andelsek.
God rest his soul. Don't end up like that. If you do, make sure your family's insured with Swiss Insurance Group. This is Woodward Heavyweights. We'll be right back.
He got hit by a semi planting flowers. Jesus.
I had my read that off the dome.
Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports.
After eating this one, it was piping hot.
Yeah. Merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs.
This is fun, man.
Like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills.
I really should probably do this once a week with y'all.
Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
What up, though? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, joined by my man Spin Mo Rex.
What up, though?
We got JB Smooth in the TV booth, as well as young Chris. They just grow so fast.
They grow up so fast.
And then leave our show. Then we don't have audio people. They just suck all the way. No, just kidding. We have
Remember
Anson.
how long we didn't have an audio guy for?
How long did we have it for?
We didn't have an audio guy.
I know. For like first 3 months, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for a minute.
Chris, shout out to Chris doing all that good stuff by himself. We're going to get off the negative notion because obviously, we can't change this old man's mind.
I want to hold you guys to it. So what do they have to do next year for them not to fall backwards into what you would consider them being SOL again?
Make the playoffs. I expect them to win the NFC North, but that's a lofty expectation. I would need to see them make the playoffs, and hopefully win a playoff game.
Yeah. What about you?
Same.
So for me, they've got to make the playoffs, and then I'll ease on it a little bit because that will mean that we didn't go backwards, that this capital and the draft that we spent and the money that we spent in free agency was worthwhile. And at that point, with how young this roster is and the progression we've seen from the staff, you've got to think that they've got to make a nice playoff run in 2024. So 2023 is playoffs or bust at this point.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's very obtainable. I mean, they were a Baker Mayfield interception away from making the playoffs this year.
Man, they sure were.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do forget that part of it. They were.
And I really don't expect them to start the year 1-6.
And if they would have gotten the 6th seed, they could have made some noise.
Oh,
boys.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They're popping the Vikings. It would have been tough to go against the 49ers, but they would have smashed the Vikings.
They out there popping Vikes.
Yeah.
My God.
I'll
update on Ben Johnson. interview with the Texans today. Scary, but I should have made this a graphic. The tweet from Adam Schefter, you know, like when guys kill the interview and like Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport, like, you know, shoot that thing out and be like, you know, so-and-so had a glowing interview with the Houston Texans. They absolutely love him. It wasn't that. It was just Ben Johnson interviewed with the Texans today, which for me, I'm marking the flag safe. From the Texans.
I don't know.
He's still the Panthers now. We still have, who else is he interviewing with? The Colts. Those are two landmines, just a sneak pass. But I think he might interview bad. He does look kind of like
Speaking of new head coaches, new interviews,
yeah.
Tom Pelissero reported today that Jim Harbaugh is the leading candidate for the Broncos job.
Love it.
God, I'm sick of it.
Actually, I don't love it. Stay in Michigan.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
He's so garbage.
I just like, we talked about it on BDE a little bit, and I just feel like, I don't know, why would the NFL want Jim Harbaugh?
Dude, I was at
He's
Salvation
60
Army
years
the
old.
other day, and I saw Jim Harbaugh buying khakis.
Used khakis.
At that same store, I saw Ben Johnson push down an elderly woman.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about those three teams that you mentioned: Carolina, Indy, and the Texans.
Yeah.
No quarterback, no quarterback, no quarterback. And from what I've seen from Ben Johnson, he's worked a minor miracle resurrecting the career of a #1 overall pick in Jared Goff. But I can't see him being too excited to run to a spot after, you know, he doesn't have a long track record. He's got a real beautiful short one right now. But to go into all three of those situations, I don't want to see him leave, man. All three of those situations, though, if I'm Ben, I'm going to take my time, put another great offensive season together, and then go get a real offer for a real franchise. Because I mean,
see, I just don't see it that way though, because like you got the guaranteed money that comes with a head coaching gig,
sure,
and the fact like this is what you get into the business for. You know what I'm saying? Like any organization that's hiring a new coach is most likely in a dire need to like, turn things around. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the key though, is when you're smart, you look at these franchises and you step on board with the wrong one, and you might be out in 3 years and might not get your shot. And there's a lot of Lions coaches that we've seen that have done that.
In the same breath, though, those same people who follow that route, they still could fall right back into a coordinator position, just as we've seen Patricia now. I mean, like plenty of guys have had that happen to them. It's like worst case scenario, you just go back to being a coordinator. You just have like $26 million like in your pocket, guaranteed.
That's a good point. But at his age and what he wants to do, I would see him being a long-term head coach and him having a plan for that. I think the Colts are a franchise that'd
be one I like.
That's where I would want to go if I was him. Carolina, they've got some pieces and some capital, but they haven't really ever been a winning franchise since the beginning, their first couple of years as an expansion team. And the Texans, man, they're just in trouble.
Yeah.
I
feel like the Texans are
the best one for him.
Yeah, he
How
can
so?
draft his own quarterback this year because they got the #2 pick. You got to think, all right, maybe someone trades with the Bears but the Bears aren't going to draft a quarterback #1 if they end up doing it. And then they have a lot of cap space where they can go out and get some people.
Yeah, and they got some players too.
Yes.
He's got some offensive pieces that I'm a big Alec Pierce fan.
Yeah.
Big Alec Pierce fan.
Me too.
Obviously, they got Big Mike at the wide receiver, and then Jonathan Taylor hopefully comes back healthy next year, and they've got a mauling offensive line. So they do have all the pieces.
$41 million in cap space too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's like eighth most.
That's when we need to hope that he is not impressive in his interview.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I didn't want to ask you guys this, and then the morning show actually said it too. And this is something I was speaking to like last year. If it weren't Ben Johnson, like looking outwards, I was looking at this is a guy that I like personally outside the Detroit Lions organization. Obviously, Ben Johnson was a candidate we all kind of fell in love with because of what he did last half of the season last year. But what about Matt Nagy as OC if Ben Johnson goes?
Nah.
The guy who dragged Mitch Trubisky to a couple division titles, and I think he won a playoff game too, didn't he?
Yes.
Against the Saints.
Yeah.
Like, and that's as a head coach, like just as an OC, we can just focus all your energy in on that. I think he's aggressive enough too. Like I
like Tanner Engstrand. I think Tanner Engstrand is the guy.
But we don't know anything about him.
Yeah, but still, he's the guy waiting in the wings. We didn't know anything about Ben Johnson.
And even then, that's like Ben's right-hand guy. So if Ben goes somewhere, that guy's most likely going with him.
But if he gets promoted to OC, Ben can't.
I got a question for both of you guys because I was in here early in the season. when I didn't know a whole lot about Ben Johnson, and you guys were on board early.
Yes.
What was the tipping point?
What
for
he
you
did
guys?
last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, like unlocking him after Anthony Lynn, after he stole a job from an elderly black man trying to feed his family. It was
Definitely not head coaching material.
Not head coaching material, but I don't know, he just revolutionized that offense. You saw Goff's numbers go up completely. You saw Amon-Ra St. Brown, who didn't really get involved at all, become a prominent fixture in that offense, and then using him in a lot of different ways. That was the big thing.
Post-game comments, and even post-season too, when the offense turned around for the line, because it was putrid last year for the longest time. But when it did make that turnaround, even though Dan Campbell was calling the plays, they're talking about Ben Johnson, like the players, and like that just tells me how much of effect he had on them. You know what I'm saying? And like just for them to name drop him, because you can say, yeah, I killed that play. Like, you know, no, they're like, man, like Ben been working with us all this week. Jared Goff, like, yeah, he went back to my tape back when I was in LA, and like what was working then, all Ben Johnson credit. You know, would just easily just be like, yeah, we F those guys, we killed them, and like that just showed me like this guy's like for real. Because at that point he wasn't the OC. He was just drawing stuff up and saying, like he's sending to Campbell, putting it for game plan, passing game coordinator, whatever else, and like that's why I saw it. I don't see that. I'm not hearing those type of things with Tanner. Like, in fact, we didn't even know who he was until we went searching for like who would be the next guy. You know.
So you guys are clearly all in. I'm
old. I'm joking.
I am cautiously all in at this point. Now, what we've seen from this team develop over the last 2 seasons really ripen this season and then come to full fruition and on camera at the end of that Packers game. And that is this brotherhood culture that we're seeing amongst the Lions that I haven't seen since the early 90s.
Yeah.
Now, big money, big opportunity of being a head coach. Obviously, I'm not going to, dismay that. But the situation with the Lions, do you think that there's maybe, I want to stay for one more year, see what we can do in Ben Johnson? Can we take this team to that level? I mean, I know that he's just an offensive coordinator, but it's still pretty good money. It's not the millions and millions, but is there something going on in this team's locker room and their culture where they're all in, where Jamal Williams takes a pay cut from what the market's offering him, where Ben Johnson says, I'm going to wait another year for a better situation and see what we can do with these guys? Could that be happening here? Because if that is, that's another indication that SOL might be something of the past very soon.
I don't think so. I don't think Ben Johnson per se would do that, because it's the competitive drive of being a coach and being a guy in the league that wants to be in the best position possible and wants to show that he can do it. So I don't think that'll help. But I do think the players have bought in. I could see guys taking a pay cut and moving on. But speaking of moving on, we do have to wrap things up. It is past 7 o'clock. Anson, we appreciate you joining us.
Blast, boys.
It was very fun. We definitely got to do it again.
No, you're good.
No, you're good, man. We're the last show anyways. We can go as long as we want. But we appreciate you joining us, and we definitely got to do this again.
Yeah,
and the Red Wings popping on right now, about to take out Toronto downtown. So make sure you guys tune in. They're on
the boys
ESPN.
Are buzzing.
Boys are buzzing.
National telly.
It's good. Jesus, look at that. Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares. This team is loaded. Red Wings are in for a tough one. But that'll do it for us today. We appreciate you all tapping in. For the man to my left, the one, the only, Speak Easy. We got Chris Platty and JB in the TD booth. Our guy, Anson Wells, in the managed chair. I am Spencer Raxler. We are the Woodward Heavyweights, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.